Keith McGowan, the Outboard Dad. Please like, subscribe, and send me any comments you have. Today, we're going to fire up our Optimax that we've been working on. Been going through a bunch of methodical tests. We did bleed out the oil system. We know our tank is full now. Also, we went through the lines and made sure we had oil at all these lines. I want to make sure when we start this motor for the first time that there's nothing but oil, no air. So we make sure we get good oil flow to this motor. We don't run it short of oil because I don't want to have any damage to this engine. So this will be the first time we're firing it up. So it's probably going to take a few tries. The fuel system we did bleed. I turned the key on and off a few times. Actually went to the pressure taps and just let a little air out. But it's probably not everywhere. There's probably still some air trapped in there. We're also, after we get it running, hopefully it runs. If not, we'll take it the next step and see what else it needs. But we'll get a gauge on there because as we read in the book, we know we need to be 10% less on our air pressure from our air pressure pump than on our fuel pressure pump. We want to make sure that's functioning properly. So first thing I'm going to do is get some ears on here and get my hose over here and get some water flowing. Because we're also going to check if, hopefully if it fires up, I'm pretty confident it will, but if it does, we're also going to check to make sure that our water pump is pumping, right? So we want to make sure that's working as well. So let's get some ears hooked up to this. We're going to turn on some water and hopefully this fires off. It's my favorite part of doing these motors is firing up and getting them running. This is Keith McGowan, the Outboard Dad, here to help you have a better boating experience and dispel that myth that the two best days are the days you bought it and the days you sold it. Let's get this running. So a couple things I did here. Number one, I made sure my hose was connected. I'm going to turn on the water in a minute here when I'm getting ready to start it. Also, the fuel in my fuel tank, in my little tank that I use to test run, I put two-stroke oil in. Mercury Optimax two-stroke oil. I'm a very big proponent of using the manufacturer's recommended oil. This is a specific motor. If you put a different oil in this, it may not flow properly and you could have problems because of the type of injection system that this has. So we want to make sure we do that. Plus, I mixed it with my fuel because now all my whole fuel system is going to get two-stroke oil through it and it's going to help lubricate it. It has sat for a while, maybe a little moisture got in there, so it's going to go through my fuel system there. So I have a good lubrication going through on the fuel system that sat for some time. There could have been some moisture in there, maybe a little corrosion, hoping to eliminate that, loosen things up, and get things operating properly. So the other thing I did when I hooked up my hose is I checked my hose all the way out to my spigot, make sure there wasn't any kinks or anything like that. You always want to make sure you have full water pressure going to these motors. First of all, as a test for your water pump. Second of all, you never want to be short of water, especially if you're going to run it for a longer period of time, because it could get too hot. So let's see what happens. We'll turn on the water and see if we can fire this puppy up. It's going to be fun. Okay, so we're running. Actually, it runs pretty good. I thought it was going to take a few more tries to get a little more of the air out, but we're not pumping water. So this motor did sit for a long period of time. I have a feeling that that water pump is falling apart, gone, old, broken up inside. I don't know. We'll find out when we pull it apart. But I'm happy that we're running. We can do some fuel tests and everything, but I want to get water flow going through this, making sure it's proper. Now, it could be that just the telltale line was not, or was clogged. Maybe it got a bug in there or something like that. So I'm going to check that telltale hose that comes out of the back. We'll check that out first. Let me show you where we're looking at. So out here, where our water would normally come out. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at those hoses in there, maybe disconnect that, see if maybe a little nest got built in there or something, and then we'll see what that looks like. I might try one more test run before I do that. Also because I just like to hear it run and it makes me feel good. So I poke through. Let's see if it starts peeing water now. So nothing's coming out, so I'm going to take the hose off. We'll look at, see if we find something obvious, maybe try it one more time, but looks like this lower unit's got to come off, and we'll check out this water pump. Okay, as we continue check on, this looks better and better. Each time we fire this up, it's running better and better, but we're not getting water flow. So I did take this plug out, and I did get a little water, so I know I'm getting some water up there, so I'm hoping it's just a bad water pump. We'll find out. We'll open it up. I'm also going to hook up a hose to that tube that goes up, send it up here, and make sure everything is flowing properly. I'm not going to put full pressure on it. I don't want to blow any gaskets. I'm also going to look at my thermostats on this motor, make sure they're not plugged up. If they've sat for this long, it's probably a good idea to replace them too. So you've seen me do some Evinrudes and some Yamahas, so now we're going to do a Mercury lower unit, remove. Also going to pull the oil plug out. I don't remember if I checked that or not. Maybe I did in a previous video, and you can tell me in the comments. But I'm going to also just pull that plug out, see what the oil looks like real quick, and do that test while we have the lower unit out.